Alrighty then. So, back at Elysium, while Oluwase is busy committing mild amounts of tech heresy, what are the two of you doing?
I would have gone back to the chantry and
Mhm.
ordered the ghouls to cut the power lines after I had managed to get, well, first cut the phone lines, then once we gotten a generator over that's large enough to supply the whole chantry, and hooked it in, I'll cut the power lines as well
Okay,
and cancel my power contract.
you can do that. However, this will hurt your long-term ability to withstand a siege, and the fun part is that there are already werewolves presumably keeping watch on this place. You're assuming 24/7, though sometimes people can go unharassed. You're going to need to bring in plenty of fuel. And a generator that big would have to be, I think, delivered by a truck because the chantry isn't exactly small.
Yeah, it's true. I'll leave the power lines for now,
Okay,
and I'll definitely have a proper generator brought in as soon as possible.
okay. So you cut the phone lines. Do you do this yourself or do you order someone to do it?
I'd order my ghouls to do it,
Okay,
armed with silver, of course, and tell them to be very watchful of werewolves.
okay. They go outside, they cut the phone lines. So, about an hour later, one of the ghouls comes back. Sir, the phone has a carrier signal again.
Did they fix the phone lines?
We could go check, sir.
Leave that for tomorrow.
How nice of them.
Oh, you! It looks like you accidentally broke this. Okay. Any further plans, Jack Lore?
Well, I'll definitely start making the stuff required for the purchase of large amounts of fuel, like massive amounts of fuel.
Okay. I think you need a someone with influence to make that make sense.
Yes, I will have. I will ask uh, Leonard to do it.
He has a look on his face like, how the fuck am I supposed to do this?
He has the right influences, right?
He has influence hospitals and influence finance. He doesn't have general.
Oh, I thought he had influence general. Who has influence general?
Actually, he does have contacts. He'll try to arrange something. Oh yeah, and he has lots of money as well due to poaching on Andy's turf. Okay. He's gonna spend most of the rest of the night on the phone. Towards the morning, he's gonna say, "Okay, boss. Tomorrow evening there should be a tanker truck outside."
Good. Well done.
Okay. Harald, what would you like to do?
I guess I should ask the prince what our strategy concerning the changelings will be now.
Okay, you just see him wince when he sees you walk in. My hands are tied. For obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Ask them to consider a compromise. See if we can appease them in some way without without giving her over or resorting to violence to protect her.
I'll see what I can do.
Mm-hmm. God damn it. Well, that's that, I suppose. Well, good luck, I guess.
I'll bow slightly and leave.
Okay. So, tomorrow night, Jackalor, the tanker truck is outside. I'm gonna need a luck die.
What am I looking for?
Higher is good.
Omnisire, guide my hand. Nope.
Okay. Who do you send out to bring it onto the lot and start pouring out the gasoline? Actually, you can probably open up the walls and just roll it inside.
I may have dominate 3, but I'm not that stupid.
I mean, there are gifts that allow you to breathe in liquids.
Exactly.
Catch pops open. Oh, what's this? Are we inside the chantry? You could
also-
command the walls to form a pit and just pour the gasoline in there. Or it's probably diesel, but same difference.
Yeah.
Is that what you like to do?
Can I do it without causing a masquerade breach?
I mean, you can bring it onto the lot and you can sort of... If you get the outer walls to rearrange, it's iffy, so you have to catch the right moment and watch probably with Auspex to make sure no one's watching.
I'll try and do that.
Okay, so you're bringing it next to the outer walls.
It's going to explode, isn't it?
Who do you send out to drive it over?
I'm going to send... Who is Terrence?
Who is Terrence? Terrence is one of the new guys, I think.
Yes.
He is new. He is good at bureaucracy and law, things like that.
Does he know how to drive?
Sure,
Does he have Auspex?
he's a Tremere.
How much?
You
Enough?
don't know, but heightened senses, it's more of a plat bonus these days anyway, so...
Yeah, but still, I most want that danger sense if he has Auspex active. Do I get the danger sense roll if I have Auspex active?
Depends where you're gonna be when this happens.
I'm
Once you
going
decide
to-
your course of action, I will tell you at what point interrupts might or might not happen, Jackalor.
I'll have Terrence bring the fuel in, or the truck in,
Mm-hmm.
and I myself will be at the top of the building.
Looking down.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so there's a couple of rolls that need to be made. You see Terence hesitate, holding a hand next to the driver's side door. And then... let's see, what do we have? Okay, fair enough. So you see three figures that were apparently concealed, throw back their cloaks, stand up on the roof on the opposite side, look at you. One of them holds out remote in front of him and presses down.
It's going to explode. I fucking knew it.
And there's just a fireball rising into the sky. So we can move Terence to the dead folder, for one.
How valuable was he?
He was a neonate with like 3 dots of contacts in bureaucracy and like 4 dots of law, but you could do without him, I'm sure.
Should have just had a ghoul do it.
You made your choice. Werewolves luckily have a thing that makes fire damage bashing to them, and you just see faintly through the fire them erupt into Krynos forms as the explosion is happening, and throw themselves backwards. Jackalor, you get a half seconds warning, so give me dexterity athletics.
Can I buff my dex?
I would say no, this is a reaction. You would have had to state it beforehand, I would say. Okay, you throw yourself backwards. You have fortitude, right?
Yes, 1 dot.
Okay, roll that, please.
Difficulty?
This, we can call it 7. Okay, you take 1 point of aggravated. Roll Rotrek at, I think it was 6 or 7 for being burned.
Let me check.
The walls are coming up as you instinctually call out to the chantry for aid, even as you feel the outer walls crumbling where the shockwave hit them. You don't have a front door anymore for the moment.
That's supposed to be 7. I'm pretty sure about that.
Yeah, then just reroll 7. Okay. So you have 1 turn. Walls are coming up. You can feel just a burning sensation in your throat from the superheated air at the top. And make me 1 more soak roll of that dot of fortitude. This time you can activate it auto succeed.
I'll do that.
Okay, you don't take any more damage.
I need 1 more.
Okay.
I made it.
So you can sense the damage. There are multiple holes in the front wall. Luckily, those aren't just heavy brick, they're infused with magic. So they mostly held, and they will eventually repair themselves. Bad news, you can't really go outside, because while the wards and the magic might be powerful enough to get the firefighters not to pay too much attention to your chantry and overlook it, it's gonna be busy there for a couple of nights at the very least as they investigate what the fuck just happened.
Mm-hmm. Fucking werewolves. I fucking knew it was gonna happen from the start.
You tried to bring in, you were just like, yeah, okay, have a truck of gasoline up front. That was that was your "are you sure" moment, Jackalor.
Should have just had a go do it. Oh, well.
So did I...
Nothing of value was lost.
Wow. Cold. Goodbye, Terence.
Okay, I do feel bad about losing him because I really want as many Tremere as possible.
Apparently not. Have to love the werewolves, though. Just stand up. Sup, bitch.
They have to be right back.
Okay. Meanwhile, on the next night, Nyaxi, at midnight, or near midnight, as you are walking towards the meeting spot, somewhere in the opposite direction, you just hear a and you see a fireball rising into the sky. Oh, it wasn't the chantry in that direction.
Huh.
Looks like they've begun.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, they're probably all right.
Fucking Jackalope. You don't... Just handing me something like that? What was he thinking? Okay, go to the meeting spot. Green is gonna be a bit late because the city just exploded, obviously.
Well, a small part of it.
Mm-hmm. But she is gonna arrive and slide into the seat next to you. She leaves her goons outside. She's polite like that.
Yeah, let me also just.
So, what word from the Prince Herald?
But unfortunately, the prince is bound by something like an oath. Since he owes a debt to the PRC in question.
I see.
Though he wants to know if there are perhaps other ways to appease you.
We want her gone. We already offered this deal. She refuses. Since she now seeks protection from the prince, I'm assuming she has no intention of leaving.
It seems likely.
I see. She's thinking. Well, the prince has to protect her. But he hasn't sworn an oath to avenge her. Is that correct?
Out of character, is that correct?
As far as you know, yes. She asked for protection from the city.
Yes, that is indeed true.
It does depend a bit on how Kurt chooses to interpret his responsibilities, but in general, yeah. He doesn't have to pursue endless vengeance against the attackers. Alright, so... that means that she's going to be protected and not handed over, as it were. But at the same time, if I understand this correctly, and of course you can't officially confirm this, but just hypothetically, if someone was to kill her, then the problem would be over for both sides, yes?
Hypothetically, if she died, that would be true.
Okay. Then, as long as she stays away from our territory, we will, as far as official stands are concerned, allow this situation to continue and not seek any conflict over this.
Yeah, that's acceptable.
Of course, this would go a lot smoother for both sides if someone was to accidentally mention the details of her security and location and sleeping arrangements in a prearranged location.
In the back.
I haven't exactly asked around, of course, but many people seeking safety stay in the Elysium.
I see. That's inconvenient, but she has to hunt, yes?
Well, unless they feed her, yes, she would have to.
It's interesting. Well, that's deeply inconvenient, I have to say.
Yeah, it seems like an inconvenient place for an accident.
Well, that being the case, there is some other way to perhaps manage this. Assume there's not much she cares about beyond certain things.
I suppose her actions suggest that, yes.
Okay. You are honorable for one of your kind.
Thank you.
We will accept you as an intermediary in this. If you promise not to interfere, you may come along. Otherwise,
well.
I'm gonna have to ask that we continue this meeting in about 4 hours or so.
Well, I'll promise not to lift my hands.
Okay, excellent. She stands up, goes behind the bar, just hands like a $5 bill to the bartender, picks up the phone, starts dialing. First, she calls someone called Alec and informs him that they're not going to hand her over, but she has a plan, and she's going to need to borrow the special agent. Alec apparently agrees. Then she calls up someone called Thorbrand.
Sounds like a good name, a proper name.
And she, along with 2 goons, drives you over towards the area that the clanless or the independent clans occupy in the city. Over there, you're met by a Thorbrand.
Tip my hat as a greeting.
He looks you up and down, raises an eyebrow. You're old, aren't you?
Well, that's certainly true.
I mean, it's a lot of effort to go through to look like old One Eye.
Oh, I see you're familiar with me.
Right. Corinne explains the plan. If they're lucky, Pamela's gonna be in there packing up her collection. If they're unlucky, or moderately lucky, they can at least seize her collection of books and writings. They know she has ghouls, and those are gonna die tonight. Sorry.
We have to drag some eggs to make an omelette.
Okay, so now, Maxie
Yeah?
and Checkler, we're gonna do it this way. Both of you roll luck die. Nexi, you're rolling for how lucky the changelings are. Checkler, you're rolling for how lucky Pamela is.
Kane, give me strength.
F.
I love you, Kane.
So, Thorbrand just sort of leans against the door, casual, like crack. Open it. There are knocked over empty bookshelves everywhere. She's already gone. Fuck. She beat us here. Shit. Well, this is inconvenient. Well, crap. I guess we might as well go. And so much for that attempted raid.
Sad.
I mean, fourth, obviously. Thorbrand's actually gonna ask you, so where are you from exactly and when?
Scandinavia.
Yeah, I figured.
Yes, when?
When, huh? It's been quite a while.
Alright, keep your secrets then. I don't particularly care. Turns to Corinne. What next? So how do you feel about grabbing someone out of Elysium? Hypothetically speaking, of course. Thorbrand just shrugs. Depends on the night, it's pretty quiet sometimes. Be expensive though. She just says, of course it would be. It's not likely to be quiet anytime soon either if they're starting to really fight. Okay. Okay. We'll let you know if we need you again. You'll get your usual, fee for when things don't work out. I need to think about how we want to do this then. Just gonna drop off Thorbrand and take you back towards your territory. I understand the difficulties that you and the prince face. Oaths are, after all, a very serious thing.
Indeed. If once you're bound, it has to be kept.
I hope we can agree that once the bitch is dead, that's it. There is no further conflict. Both sides just stop fighting over this, yes?
I'm sure everyone can be convinced of that.
Okay. Your prince wanted a compromise. That's what we're willing to go with.
I will. Yeah, I will tell him as much.
Okay. Then you have an arrangement that both sides are equally gonna hate.
That's just how compromises are meant to be.
Yeah, isn't it?
It's hard. That didn't seem like she knew about the third floor of Elysium.
Doesn't seem like it, no. Or maybe that's what she's planning to use and thinks you don't know about it.
Yeah, perhaps.
Yeah, she's just gonna drop you off near the bar where she picked you up. Well, it's been a pleasure. So our next meeting. Any preferences?
Well, I'm pretty flexible.
Okay, how about here? 2 nights from now, at midnight. Should be plenty of time, and
Very well.
you can decide on a more permanent arrangement then.
Until then.
Okay. Jackalor, how do you deal with the emergency that has erupted around your
I
chantry?
can't hear you. Please talk louder.
How do you deal with the emergency that has just erupted?
Try and get the ghouls to be on alert, but let them rest in shifts, of course, but like have more people on alert than usual.
There are people who have their faces burned off downstairs. We're talking a bit more immediate than what do you do over the next couple of days.
Oh, okay. I'll try and feed any ghouls that have been injured blood.
Okay. How much blood are you willing to devote to this? Personally.
How much personally I'm going to give up. Oh no, that's the wrong sheet. Let's see here. I'm willing to give up 3 blood points.
Okay, that's enough to give first aid to the ones that were hurt. Not gonna be fully healed, but it's enough to, make sure nobody does, for example, loses their eyesight or things like that.
Okay.
Outside, the you can't really look outside because you would have to form an outside window, and that might be bad. But you can feel the heat trying to work its way into the chantry walls, and the watch trying to, flex against it and push it back.
Yeah, I'll feed a bit more quintessence into the wards and the building itself.
Okay,
How much should I roll the stores rating again and see how much I can do?
we're gonna do it this way because we're gonna use this as a capacitor. You had a node rating of 8, which and how much of it was devoted towards 5?
5, yeah.
Okay, so you can store, I think we said something like 6 quintessence. Actually, no, it was a month's worth, right? And it replenished every week per point.
Yeah.
Okay, so weekly rate is 3 of quint, 3 of tas, which means that during a month you can store up to 12. So just on the chantry sheet, make a section for yourself where you can track how much you have currently in the tank and how long it has been since the last tick. So
what am I supposed to do exactly? Write down.
You need an area where you can write down like 12 out of 12 quintessence. And then time since last tick, and this is gonna be counting up to 7. So it's the third night of the third arc, which means that you're 3 out of 7 towards another tick of quintessence refilling. So currently we're gonna say you have 12 in the tank.
Mm-hmm.
How much are you gonna spend on repairing this?
I'm going to spend 5.
You wouldn't need to spend that much. If you spend 3, that's
Oh,
gonna essentially be enough to restore the walls to pretty much intact.
I'll spend the 3 then.
Okay? Then the walls reform. Your sanctity rating is 6, right? Go ahead and
Yes.
roll that for me at a 7 to see how well the magics deflect the attention of mortal firefighters and the like. Okay? Huh, that's weird. There must have been something shielding that building from worst of the blast. Must have been another car. Look on the street over there, see if it was sent flying.
I love my sanctity rating.
So the chantry stands. This neighborhood, on the other hand, you can see the fire spreading.
Oof.
This is gonna make the national news, son.
Oof. We need to spend more on security to make sure such direct threats to America aren't.
Russian spies.
Hmm?
Russian spies.
Yeah, clearly. It is a city with a military base, so they might assume that it targeted, it just exploded too early.
Oof. So, you're gonna get a Michelle coming through the mirror. She's just gonna show up next to you as you're, focusing on the word. She's just gonna tap you on the shoulder. William, Kurt asked me to deliver a question for you, and I quote, "Why the fuck is my city on fire?"
Uh, the Chantry was in dire need of a new power source.
Uh-huh. Kurt mentioned something about how he wouldn't have expected the generator to be at fault in any other city, but to check.
Well, it wasn't the generator, but
Mm-hmm.
the truck of fuel that had been ordered.
You ordered a tanker truck of fuel. How? Why?
As I said, generator needed extra fuel. Fucking you're just laughing his ass off.
You know when it's put like this, it sounds really fucking stupid, Jack Lore. That's why he's laughing.
Guessing is Bacon? Oh, Bacon left.
Yeah.
Uh, it was the fastest way to get the necessary fuel to last once the bubbles act openly.
She puts a hand on the walls, almost jerks it back for a second, puts it back. You know, that's a great argument, but the walls are warmer than they usually are. I'm sure you know your own business best, but I'm also sure that the prince would prefer if you ran your plans to secure large amounts of supplies quickly past him or me first in the future.
I'll make sure to do that, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I know all I need to hear. Gonna start walking back towards the mirror room.
Very willpower left. I might actually read her mind. Though I fear what I'd see.
Yeah, that might be a frenzy check for you.
Now this or the reading mind?
What you would see in her mind. So, Harald, you drive back, you're dropped off. Huh. Sky is that strange shade of orange. Like a forest fire, except in a city.
I mean, someone in Elysium will probably know.
I think Demi is gonna be unhappy with you. He was just settling in. This was a center of culture. Technically, not a breach of the veil, though. Technically. By the
Yeah.
slimmest of margins.
It's certainly a war crime, though.
It's okay, they used glasswalkers and red talents for this one. So, you head to Elysium. I assume the Toreador Elysium.
Yep.
Okay. Certainly a lot of people here tonight. Oh, look, including Pamela. Her goals seem to be bringing in another chest of what are probably books into Elysium. Go figure.
Not unexpected.
And yeah, the talk on everyone's lips seems to be of the explosion. And does the chantry still stand? It has begun.
I wonder how they got something this explosive so close to the chantry.
Surely there would be security. Okay. Michelle is gonna come out of the side room where the mirror is kept. There's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna try and talk to her. She makes her way towards the princess office, for the lack of a better term. And I think Kurt needs to roll for frenzy. Because this is just... Oof, son, for fuck's sake.
So many potential frenzies the last few days. Maybe he should do some anger management.
Wow. You just hear, "He did what?" And the sound of a table being slammed into a wall, wood splintering. Michelle stumbles backwards out of the door. Fuck! Just dives for the floor as a chair comes flying at her.
I guess I'll have to wait some time before I can bring in the news.
Yeah, there's a... Kurt's gonna spend a willpower point not to try and kill her. My mouse is bugging out. Let me just remove and replace the battery. And you just hear him going, "Stupid, arrogant, self-righteous, conniving, selfish piece of stupid shit!" As he's smashing things. Shell straightens herself. Comes out. Just addresses the crowd. I believe the prince may be of the opinion that William has made a slight error in judgment in how he chose to try and supply the chantry with fuel. The werewolves apparently caught news of his plans. Moron! Retard! Burn candles, you fucking loser! And I believe he thinks that the situation could have been handled better. I'm gonna roll charisma etiquette for her. See if she has etiquette. Oh good, 2 dots! So, Bacon, you're back. On the next night, what would you be doing? Would you be at Elysium, or would you have headed to study the machine some more?
Next night, he would inform the clan on what's happened, and any of the people remaining have how to know how to do traps.
I'm not sure. I think they might not have that particular skill. Not in anything comparable to your skill level anyway.
Okay.
I'm gonna check because I might be wrong. But I don't think they do. Patricia does not know. Nope. Nope, yeah, no, you're the only one.
That's a problem.
Like, they can do
Actually,
the work under your supervision to some extent, just because they do have the strength and stuff, but yeah, you would have to lead it.
yeah, I mean, we are neutral, so I don't think we will target and fuck the communal security. I don't care if that crude woman dies.
Okay.
Yeah, I will just inform the client that I will be doing some investigations, that they just operate normally, be careful, and don't be a problem for the werewolves or the people in the city.
Okay. So, to the machine.
First, I want to go to the Elysium and see if I find a region there.
Okay. You don't, but you arrive at Elysium, and shortly after you arrive, there's just a faint sound of something. Someone at the window just goes, whoa, just points out. People start to gather. You see the remnants of a fireball rising from the general direction of the chantry.
Just looks around. Is the prince here?
Yeah, he's there. Standing by the window, you can see the fists clenched. Takes a moment. Looks at Michelle. Go find out. Actually gonna go next to her, whisper in her ear. She just gives him a like, wait, really? Look. Just go find out.
Auspex could hear it, right?
Roll for it.
It will be very awkward the day that remembered that, oh, I can't use it. That's weird. What difficulty? 8?
Yeah. Something diesel generator, something find out, something fuck ups.
Okay.
Then she gives him that look and then she said, just go and find out what happened. A little while after that, maybe half an hour, the Michelle arrives back, goes to report to Kurt, and you hear him just screaming, "He did what?" and frenzy. And then she makes her awkward speech about like, how William might have done a few things better.
Okay. I think I will do the research alone. I wanted the reference books, but I think they burned. There should be a library in the city, right?
It's probably
Maybe I'm-
closed at night.
Yeah.
Like, if you wanted to go to a library, you would have to, but you would probably have to go by car, and you would have to go without first gathering your entire clan to discuss making traps and what to do next, because you had to go around and find each of them.
Oh, no, I just... The clans, they are free for themselves today. It just...
So Bacon,
So-
out of character in terms of what happened, Jacklor decided that he's gonna cut the power and phone lines after the paranoia-inducing things that happened previously. The phone lines the werewolves repaired for him. The power lines he was gonna cut and go to a diesel generator. So he decided that,
Yeah.
hey, Leonard has resources 5 and connections. I'm just gonna make sure that I don't run out of fuel for a while. He parked a tanker truck outside his chantry. The werewolves noticed in time.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah, he sends out a neonate to drive it onto the lot so he can start pumping out the fuel. Because, well, they have allspace, they have danger sense, right? He watches from a little bitch boy tower on the chantry roof. 3 werewolves drop camouflage cloaks, stand upon the roof opposite, smirk at him, beep, and turn the street outside into a sea of fire.
Wait. Did I ever hear the password for the mirrors?
I don't
Go
think
to the
so.
chantry? Yeah. Oh, then I just go to research. Fuck this.
Okay. So what do you wish to do with... Do you wish to track down reference books for programming? Or do
Yeah.
you wish to go to the machine?
I would like to track down the books that the region has.
Okay, like specifically the ones the werewolves had on hand.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have money?
Actually, yeah, I do. 4 dots of it.
Okay. Then you have... Well, let's see. You can just give me like a perception investigation check if you have investigation to see if you can track down a place that would sell books like these, and from that point onwards you can just like wake the owner so he sells them to you or break in.
Don't have investigations, just perception.
Well, then you would have to ask around, most likely. What do you have?
Larceny. I can break into places.
Okay. Make a larceny roll and a luck roll. So just like, I think wits larceny because you're trying to do the entire heist in a single roll rather than just picking a lock.
Okay, so wits. Larceny.
Okay, and a luck dice. Languages. Endless list of languages. Spanish, French, Italian. Oh look, those are cookbooks starting now. You spent about half of the night breaking into several bookshops and finding everything but what you were looking for.
Ah, just
Sights and history of New Orleans.
he's just going to do a hunt and then go back to Elysium and see if the president is still alive or was executed.
Okay, go ahead and roll for hunt.
Okay. I would do a wield stealth with obfuscate, so what would be the difficulty?
You have Auspex as well, so let's call it a 4, because the whole city is kind of on alert with a major fire. You can see the sky lighting up from all the burning buildings in that direction. But yeah, you can grab plenty of people.
I think I can go to full.
Okay. Nyaxi. Herald returns to Elysium. There is a bit of a relieved tension in the air, and there seems to be wooden pieces of furniture scattered along the hallway leading from the common room on the top level.
Oh, interesting.
It's almost like someone had a problem with something.
Yeah, huh, interesting. Well, maybe I'll hear about it once I'm inside. Proper.
No, you would be inside. You would only be able to see this from the common room.
Okay.
So, couple people glance at you. Several are still looking out of the window. It's definitely a lot of people here, including Pamela, as I mentioned earlier.
Yep.
And yeah, you said you were here for seeing that scene of things exploding. So, yeah, or not for things exploding, rather for the prince exploding, I should say. So yeah, you actually saw that happening, and several minutes before he finally seems to calm down. It's apparently William is out of favor tonight.
Yeah, so it looks like it.
So I'm assuming you're gonna eventually approach the prince to report.
Yeah.
A couple of people look at you like, "Oh, it's your fucking funeral." But you approach. Kurt is just slowly pulling pieces of wood off his clothing, dropping them one by one on the floor, just slowly like.
I patiently wait.
Harald? News?
Yes. Oh, there's good news and bad news.
Okay, go on.
The good news are that officially the changelings are willing to keep the peace.
And unofficially?
The bad news is that unofficially they are kind of out for blood when it comes to Pamela.
Of course they fucking are.
So they have great understanding for us being bound by a word. in her case.
Okay. So what would be the specifics of this?
They won't pursue hostilities officially, but it's possible that they will go after Pamela in specifically.
I can
If the
only
opportunity arises.
Well, I can only do my best to protect her. If she sticks her neck out and gets it chopped off, then accidents happen.
Yeah, that's of course the truth.
Okay, so essentially they might come after her and... Okay, I think I get it. We're pretending that everything is okay, and we're trying to keep her alive in theory, and they're trying to off her without either side provoking all-out war, right?
Essentially.
Okay. Fair enough. It will have to do. Well, at least that is going well enough. I'm sure you noticed the fire.
I saw it on the way to my meeting, and afterwards the sky was tinged like when the forests burn.
Yes, the werewolves blew up a fuel truck next to the chantry.
Oh, I take it the damages are quite substantial.
I haven't received a detailed report, but I'm hoping for one casualty in particular at the moment. But the implication I got is that apparently there's enough magic in those walls to withstand a blast like that. So apparently it still stands. Somehow.
Oh, that's interesting though, I suppose. The neighborhood isn't quite as resilient.
No, I believe they're calling in the National Guard. In case there's another riot.
Well, that will make the make these days a bit more interesting, I suppose.
Welcome to New Orleans. Now you're one of us.
Maybe it will hinder the werewolves as well.
Suppose we'll see. Meanwhile, out in the Atlantic, a new storm is slowly forming as the werewolves chant away.
Oof.
I mean, this time at least isn't a race, right? Just some explosions and another storm.
I should probably hunt.
Yeah, you can definitely take the time to hunt. Jackalor, after the initial situation is handled and it's clear that this is not part of an all-out assault. Yet, what do you do?
I'd like to requisition the, or at least inform the clan Tremere of, well, my lord, of the of the fetish computer and ask that if she would be so kind as to look. Actually, can I go around her? I'd rather go around her.
Okay, your sire, even if you could talk to him, is over in Canada, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
which
Yeah.
is like pretty much the whole continent away. So you'd have to go above her to whoever manages the southern United States overall.
Could I go to the? Could I check with the Lord over in that manages the Texas or the rest of Texas and shit?
Okay, how would you reach him?
I'm pretty sure I have fought quite a bit in Houston, so I wouldn't have. I could reach them through.
You would have the regent in Houston, yes.
Yes, so I'd be able to reach him through there.
Okay. Make a charisma etiquette roll at... Well, you can use manipulation, but this is going to be at an 8, because you are quite obviously and thoroughly bypassing the chain of command to do this.
Yes. Does will reason apply?
Sure.
Oof. At least it's not a botch, but oof.
The regent just... Okay, so there's something valuable. It's a great opportunity, but I fail to understand why you're not bouncing it up your own chain of command.
Very well.
No, seriously, why? I don't see any particular reason. Is there some sort of a problem there? Are you unable to reach them?
We have a troubled relationship at best.
Okay. Well, thank you for your call. I will call you back and let you know if we change our minds.
Mm-hmm. So I'll have to call the Lord anyway.
Mm-hmm.
When worth a shot.
When you call her, they inform you that you're going to have to wait a few minutes since she's currently taking another call, possibly from Texas. But she eventually picks up. William, I hear it started. Are you feeling toasty yet?
Lord Ludwig, well, there has come to my attention that there is a great and valuable piece of Weaver spirits empowered technology in New Orleans.
Go on.
A pack of glasswalkers had apparently managed to create a machine of immense size and power, and I would like an expert, if completely temporarily, like a few nights at most, to take a look at it and see if it is worth our time, because I believe it is worth our time, quite a lot actually. And if we had the right expertise available to us. Otherwise, we'll have to simply destroy it. And
You know, I appreciate you informing me, and I'll be certain to contact your prince and offer an expert as reinforcements to the city, if he feels that it is necessary.
Thank you, Lord Ludwig.
Good luck with your siege, William.
Thank you for your show of support.
Yeah, that was definitely... I hope you burn, asshole. I hear it started. mean that relationship is a bit poisoned, yes.
William should be the Lord instead.
Okay. So yeah, Kurt is gonna get a call tonight asking if he wants an independent Tremere expert that owes no allegiance to William's chantry, or William, to come and take a look. I mean, Radomir, the guy he sent out to drive the fuel truck might have become his friend. Maybe, given time. Unfortunately, Jekyll sent him to his death.
Isn't Leonard a good friend?
Leonard's the one who reported to the Lord about everything that's happened, so she would be
Oh.
ready with her responses. Well, that and the region from Houston.
Maybe we should have sent Leonard out to drive the fuel truck.
He wouldn't have gone, though.
No, I'm not sending Leonard. He's way too valuable for that.
He holds resources in the name of the clan. He can't be sacrificed. He's too useful.
That as well. Also, I like him.
Jekyll, this clan fits you so fucking well.
You wonder why you play them.
But yeah, like, you're not a stupid man. From the subtext there, you can probably tell that the Lord's answer is, yeah, I'm not sending any more reinforcements in now that it started. Like, not like that, no.
Yeah, I getcha. I got that.
Okay, do you visit the Elysium before the night ends?
No.
Okay.
Well, I'd have to. Well, I don't want to go hunting. I'd rather go and take some bit from the stores, like 3 blood points.
Go ahead and roll your stores rating.
Difficulty?
Difficulty is 6. The way I think this is, yeah, you can't afford to take 1 right now.
I'll take the 1. That's all I really need.
Because, yeah, the other Tremers are also fueling up for fight and repairing the ghouls, etc. So,
I get you.
okay. So, eventually, over the night, the news emerges. National Guard gets called in case the city does what it did before a couple of years ago, so that this time they're ready and there's no delay. The firefighters, well, they managed to contain the blaze by soaking several buildings and in one area pulling several buildings down to create a fire break. But it's a good area of the city that's kind of fucked up as a result. Because, hey, fuel explosion. Which means that there is now a clear field of fire around the chantry, more or less. Or at least a clear field with no mortals, but plenty of hiding spaces in burnt out piles of wreckage. Goody, goody, good. The Regent is apparently alive. One of the newcomers to the city, a neonate, apparently got destroyed in the blast. There is some talk in the city that, now that it started, maybe it's too late to gather more resource and maybe he should have just bunkered as best he can. Firefighters are going to continue fighting the fire throughout the day and into the next night. but it's eventually going to be fully put out. Werewolves don't send any message about this. Nor do they lodge a formal protest about you claiming the spirit computer. Not yet, anyway. In fact, to a lot of vampires it seems like, okay, they took out Vivian and that, and delivered their ultimatum. We retaliated, seized something valuable. At least that's the way it must look to them, right? So they retaliated by blowing up the neighborhoods around the chantry. So the way it's seen in the city is kind of like a growing escalation of violence. Tit for that. And what else?
Don't we need to roll for the Gangrel hunting werewolves?
They are... We're gonna look at that for when that actually... We can do that next session.
Okay.
Yeah, it's people hunting werewolves. That's gonna be handled by whoever's running that clan, since that was mostly assigned to that. So right now they are kind of trying to figure out the best possible plan and putting their info together. Unless Corral just says do it this way and kicks their ass into gear, they're taking their time.
I'm quite alright. I just want to make sure that I'm also partaking. Wouldn't want to miss out.
Yeah, as far as changelings are concerned, well, there is no formal protest, but yeah, there's certainly... Somehow the rumor gets out that Pamela has pissed off another group of supernaturals. Maybe mages, maybe fairies, but who the fuck believes in fairies? Maybe some strange type of kindred. And the prince thinks it's her own fucking fault, but is forced to protect her, so she's kind of on the you bitch list. Yeah, when people actually mention that, hey, who believes in fairies, it's kind of like, no, wait, I really remember something about fairies being in Elysium, it's just so fuzzy. Malkavians remember. But, yeah. So that's the general feeling in the city, like, I mean, I guess we're doing okay, and like one Tremere died, so but I wonder where the fuck this is going. This could get real bad real quick at this rate. And I think with that general info dump and a general aura of an anxiety growing in the Chantry and Elysium, we're going to end today's session. So, Jackalor, tell us, which of your fuck-ups was your favorite?
I really should have seen the fucking explosion coming. I saw it, I just thought it was too late at that point. What was the chance for me to on the 1d10 to have them not explode everything?
It was kind of a matter of if they noticed quickly enough and had enough people available to set it up. So it was gonna be rigged if they had, if you weren't lucky enough, that is. It was gonna be rigged either on opening the door or as a remote to blow. And you got something like a 4.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to rush, and they didn't have too many woofs there. So they kind of sent some, randos who could rig something together real quick. And, theatrical idiots throws back camouflage cape. Here I am, bitch.
Yeah.
Kaboom.
Okay. Yeah, it was definitely my favorite moment. despite everything.
Diesel fuel can't melt bricks, Jackalour, right?
No, they cannot.
Okay, and what is going through William's head at this time?
He was hoping he'd be able to get access to or get credit for finding and taking and getting the machinery to the Clan Tremere, but that's not looking like it happening anymore.
I mean, you might get some credit, but your superiors are jealous cunts, apparently.
Well, yes, the Tremere, by definition.
Catherine Ludwig as she force chokes William. William croaking out, "Is that among my achievements, not yours?" Bacon.
Okay, favorite moment. I think the interaction with Andy and my first actual real politics instead of
Mm-hmm.
least favorite. I think would be nothing that was too below average. The rest was average.
Wow. Thanks. And what's going through
You're welcome.
Owase's head?
I think that he is either going to need a nature change or he's going to break down soon because he's a loner and this time he tried to do things alone, but it didn't work. He spent an entire night doing nothing useful. So he seeing that now that he has to do actual stuff, building in a corner, he can actually do it not alone.
Yeah, William practically murdered you in the Elysium.
So
Okay.
he's either going to be on lone willpower, and give up on everything, or he try to change his nature.
Okay. Naxi.
There were a lot of conversations with NPCs that were good. I can't think of anything that's negative though.
Okay. And what is going through Harald's head?
He hopes that he's doing a good job so that the prince won't be too pissed off once he does something that's unorthodox. So he's being patient and just waiting until he can hunt with the clan.
Okay. So, as far as my favorite moment was, when Jackalour also easily just handed me just a fuel truck, ready to be cracked open. It was perfect. For a moment I felt like I was back in Toluca.
Yeah, I missed Oluka.
Okay, so everyone gets 2 XP, and Draculor, which NPCs deserve XP? From those that lived.
I'll give one to Catherine and one to Thorbrand.
Okay.
Actually, Pamela. Pamela, yeah.
Pamela. Okay, Bacon.
One to the neonate that did good and didn't kill the ghoul and instead brought to me. Harold. And the other one, NPC did some important stuff.
I mean, Pamela almost opened the second front.
I think the sheriff, the whole handling and trying not to let the very powerful weapon be in the hands of the Tremere.
Okay, Naxi.
One for Walder and one for the prince.
Okay. Look, Kurt getting more XP. Unfortunately, his self-control is already maxed. That's what living in the city does to you. Okay. I guess that's everything, unless anyone has any final thoughts or ideas to share. Burn, burn, burn it down. Burn it all down, baby. You know, I was wondering how the werewolves were gonna manage to clear an area easily enough without being stopped, around the chantry in particular, for their rituals and the like.
Yeah, I forgot. I was supposed to be looking like a crocodile. What was the people's reaction when they just saw me looking different?
You're a Nosferatu, and a lot of it is under the clothes, as it were. And generally speaking, this would have been something that's been happening gradually. It's just finally reached the point where the crocodiles recognize you as one of their own.
Ah, okay.
And you didn't talk to those. Not today.
No, not today.
Okay, well then. We're gonna leave you here and see you next week on Wednesdays for Warhammer and Sundays for more Elders. See you then. Say goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.